Well, despite a 10:45 AM start time, the sun was high in the sky by the time the men got underway, and the temperatures were really up towards the high 30s with a bit of humidity catching in as well. But a decent men's field assembled here for the last ITU Triathlon World Cup of 2009 in Huatulco, Mexico. And straight to the front, we saw McClarty in the women's race. Well, it was McClarty again in the men's race, brother Dustin, showing everyone else a clean pair of feet. So a strong American contingent making the trip down into Mexico for the race, and we saw a number of them throughout the day, really giving some strong performances. So here we have Dustin McClarty then taking the swim preem of $500. David McCollum, the photographer there, doing his best to get out of the way. And just behind him, one of the Mexican athletes, Francisco Serrano, who's went to Beijing Olympic Games in 2009, having a particularly good season again this year, and carrying a lot of Mexican support with him throughout. A few Russians also making the trip over from the other side of the world, and they're looking to cap their season in style. They had a very good year, the Russian Federation. So athletes after athletes pouring out of the swim, a really competitive race in prospect, and this would carry on onto the bike, where ultimately a big pack of 32 athletes would start the 40 kilometres together. But we cut back to the action then, and Dustin McClarty really showing some good pedigree. Just behind him then some of the American athletes really looking to get a good toe in towards that first transition and that all-decisive change onto the bike. Beautiful clear waters as McClarty exits the swim, quickly followed by Francisco Serrano. And the chase pack would have to do a little bit of catching up to do, but it wouldn't take them too long. Obviously the benefit of coming out of the water first is you can take all your time in the world in transition, none of this rushing to try and make a pack. Ivan Tatukin then, the young Russian under 23, just going through the shot. And there's Danilo Sapanov from Ukraine, who watched his wife Yulia take 5th place in the women's race earlier in the morning. In fact, another couple who made the trip down, Jared Shoemaker, the ITU Duathlon World Champion, had the luxury of watching his wife Alicia Kay from Canada compete in the morning, and then he had to go out in the afternoon and do his work for the day. So Sapanov heading out on the bike, very relaxed. And there we go, Tatukin from Russia collected a bronze medal at the Tizivaros ITU Triathlon World Cup in Hungary. So out on the bike, and this really tough course was going to separate the men from the boys, so to speak. And Rudy Wild from Switzerland, one of the strongest cyclists in the pack, trying to get a bit of strength work in his legs. Obviously been training up in the Alps, but straight away towards the front, Matt Chabot from the United States of America, the 2008 Pan American champion, who actually won his title in Mazatlan just in Mexico, and here's Rudy Wild also trying to break away from the main pack. Really, it's like a brutal climb. Sitting back in the pack, Daniel Sapanov, maybe hoping that the guys at the front who decided to burn that extra energy would blow up later on in the race and give him a fighting chance of coming back into play. While Chabot actually continued to put time into everyone else. 2 minutes into Rudy Wild coming into the run, and 4 minutes into the main pack. Here is Wild putting together a stellar race himself, part of the Swiss team who took the ITU Team Triathlon World Championships. Well, here came the main chase pack, and they'd been whittled down from 32 to somewhere in the teens, about 12-13 athletes then, as Sapanov lets his bike hit the floor. But any hopes they thought of catching Chabot on the day quickly went out the window. The young American really putting some decent running on towards the top of his decent biking. Rudy Wild, eyes rolling in the back of his head in the heat. The young Swiss guy, not used to 36, 37 degrees. But Jared Shoemaker was the ITU Duathlon World Champion and winner of the Hamburg Dexter Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship race. Really in good form, trains in the heat of the United States. And lots of support for Francisco Serrano, putting together a really great race on the day, giving his home crowd something to shout about, running along the likes of Daniel Sapanov and Ivan Tatukin. Fantastic race from the Mexican Federation, but into the home straight then came Chabot. He had plenty of time in hand, lots of hand slapping all the way down the home straight, and he was delighted with his win. His first ITU Triathlon World Cup, and he wasn't going to be quiet about it. Very well deserved second place then for Rudy Wild. Shows that the guts got him the glory on the day, the decisive breakaway on the bike, giving him his first medal at the ITU Triathlon World Cup Series. Probably more from him to come in the future years. High five then with Chabot. And over the line in third place, the pre-race favourite Jared Shoemaker. A stellar year for Shoemaker, but on the day the two cyclists managed to get away and his race was done.
The first 4 laps by myself was just pure adrenaline, but the last lap, man, I was feeling it on the bike, coming up on that big hill. I just tried to stay as steady as I could going up, and getting as much rest as I possibly could on the way down. So
I'm really pleased about the race. I don't even realize yet. I think it takes me a few minutes until I start realizing what I've done today.
It's hot out. I thought it was going to be cooler than last year. I think it was hotter than last year. That was a tough race. I mean, Matt went for it, and you know, I didn't know if he'd be able to hold on the run, but that's an awesome race, and that's the kind of racer he is. He likes to go and grab it and go for it.
Well, Field and Schwabo then making names for themselves in Mexico. We look forward to seeing them in the 2010 Dexter Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship Series.